Alright, so guys, what's going on? It's your boy Tim Biz. Alright, so we are going to have a discussion, and it really hurts. And it's kind of disappointing to even discuss this because of what's going on. Because one, I'm a big fan of his music, and now here we go again, where Mystical finds himself in trouble, and this time he may not be able to get out of it because apparently he's been arrested for basically what he went to prison for the last time, and this time he's being held without bail. And it gets to a point where you have to start asking these questions like, hey man, why does this keep happening? Why does he keep putting himself in a position to where he's getting accused of this? Now keep in mind, he dodged a bullet a few years ago when this came up. So now here he is finding himself right back in trouble with Johnny Law again for the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, why does this keep happening to him? Why does he keep putting himself in a position for him to even be accused of this? And you would think he would have learned his lesson based off what happened the first time, and then what happened to him again. And I have to keep it 100. Like I said before, I judge everything on a case-by-case basis. I ain't into that believe all women crap, because that is cap, that is baloney, that is complete bullshit. Okay? But I read the transcripts, and Mystical is in deep trouble. He's in deep trouble. And like I said, you have to ask yourself, why does he keep putting himself in this position where this keeps happening to him? So now all of a sudden, now you have to start raising, red flags like, hey man, this ain't looking too good for you. Just like everybody, Darren Sharper, the benefit of the doubt. But then after a while, they just had overwhelming evidence that he did what he was accused of doing. And now he's serving 18 years in prison. One thing about me, I'm fair and objective, and it just ain't looking too good for him. You would think a dude like him, based off what did happen to him the previous times, he did a prison stint. You would think he at this point to where, hey, you would have stuff recorded, you would have confidentiality agreements ready and consensual agreements ready to where this kind of stuff wouldn't happen. But here he is finding himself in this position once again. Now keep in mind, I remember when he went to prison the first time, I read the transcripts of what's supposed to happen. Now the transcripts can be hit or miss, because sometimes they leave out stuff. But what had happened was, apparently he had a hairdresser that basically stole money from him. She stole like $50,000 from him or something. He found out about it. Instead of him just putting her in jail and pressing charges against her, he called herself punishing her by making her do unfriendly things to basically, I guess him and his homeboys, it was videotaped. He was eventually arrested. Now he had cut a deal with the DA where the tape wasn't supposed to show up, and the DA basically hoodwinked him, and the judge got a hold of the tape, and that's how Mystical ended up doing the prison stint. Technically, he did do it, but he tried to cop a plea, and basically the DA basically railroaded him, steamrolled him. And this latest incident happened in his hometown of New Orleans. It happened in his hometown of New Orleans. So once again, here you are attached to another incident and your home state. of Louisiana. So like I said before, you have to start evaluating this stuff. You got to be like, hey man, okay, why does this keep happening? Why are you in this position? Whatever the case may be, and I'm trying to be fair to Mystical, at the end of the day, it's not looking too good for him. And we have to at least be honest about that. And I know there's brothers here that want to believe Mystical and be like, hey, this is just another case of somebody possibly lying on him, but you got to look at it from another perspective. This keeps happening to him. Now, before somebody said, well, what about Chris Brown? Well, Chris Brown is smart enough to have video surveillance all around his house and take phone calls where you had these women basically telling them, if you didn't give me some money, I'm going to say that you did this. See, that's the difference between Chris Brown and everybody else. He's smart enough to record stuff, have camera surveillance, so he don't put himself in a position where this can happen. But yet, Mystical has put himself in a compromising position. He's being held with no bail. And the thing is, Mystical have millions of fans around the world. He's a platinum selling artist. He's probably in everybody's at least 50 greatest MCs list. He's in mine's. Because you don't want to believe that somebody, especially if you're somebody that listened to Mystical and you grew up listening to Mystical and you was a big fan of his work, of his music, you don't want to believe that he could be capable of doing something like this. But the reports say battery, false imprisonment, and you know what I'm saying, and you know, essay. You just like, wow. Putting yourself in a position to where you're getting accused of this kind of stuff. It is not looking too good for him. Now, if Mystical is innocent of these charges, then I hope he does his due diligence and makes this person pay for this. Now, if he is guilty of this stuff, then, you know, at the end of the day, he got to be dealt with. So like I said, I'm being fair and I'm looking at it from both perspectives. But like I said, this keeps happening to him. This keeps happening to him. Okay, he got out of one situation a few years ago, and like I said, now he's right back in another one. I don't know if it was him being in the military that they did stuff to him, or whatever the case may be, to where it's just screwed him up, or he just may be, or is he just a bad guy, or is he a guy that just always find himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, or he just deal with the wrong kind of women. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm just being, that's what I'm saying. I'm putting it out there. At the end of the day, this keep happening to you. I mean, like, bro, you just got out of a situation a few years ago. I think when he got out of prison, he had 2 accusations against him. So actually, this is the 3rd. So it's like, bro, what's going on with you, man? So, like I said, I'm trying to play this by ear, but at the same time, you have to keep it 100. It ain't looking too good for him. You know what I'm saying? It ain't looking too good for him. We gotta at least admit that. We gotta at least say, why did this dude keep putting himself in a position? Like I said, look at the transcripts of why he ended up in jail in the first place. He did what the transcript said that he did. But he had cut a deal And the DA wasn't supposed to leak the tape, and the DA sent that tape to the judge. He didn't keep up his end of the bargain, which at the end of the day, that DA should be disbarred, should have got disbarred, because he violated a code of ethics. If they had a deal in place and he violated the deal, you should look. Mystical should have sued that DA or tried to get him disbarred if a deal was in place. And a deal was in place, and that DA reneged on the deal and sent that judge the videotape. And you got to ask the question: why did he let himself be filmed? So that's another question you gotta ask yourself. Like I said, you guys, I'm fair, but at the same time, I mean, we can't be like I said, we can't be naive. The Bill Cosby situation is totally different. They had a lot of circumstantial evidence, and then they admitted that Bill Cosby shouldn't have went. Most of the people admitted Bill Cosby shouldn't have went to jail in the first place. So like I said, this is too, like I said, everything goes by case basis with me. Like I said, this just keeps happening to Mystical. It just keeps happening. Like I said before, Mystical have female fans, he have dudes that love his music, but at the end of the day, if he's doing this stuff, you just can't sit up there and turn a blind eye. You gotta be like, man, bro got a problem. Yeah, I mean, listen, bro, I'm not trying to come down on Mystical, but at the end of the day, we black people, we gotta have these kind of conversations. We gotta have these conversations. We can't always sit up here and turn a blind eye and be naive and be like, oh man, I just don't want to believe it. And look, I don't want to believe it neither. Like I said, I am deeply disturbed by this with Mystical because, like I said, it keeps happening. Why does this keep happening with him? Why does the same thing keep happening with him? Once again, I read the transcripts of why he went to jail. Not a good look. Because technically, he did it. He cut a deal, and the DA reneged on the deal. And basically, the DA double-crossed him. And if Mystical would have had a good lawyer, his lawyer should have filed all kind of motions against that DA. But I guess he didn't have a good lawyer. Because technically he did it. Instead of him, he just should have put that chick in jail. She went from being a perpetrator to being a victim. Mystical was the one that ended up going to jail. He should have just put her ass in jail. Now, Mystical wasn't as far as people gonna say, oh, well, that would have been. Nah, Mystical don't fit in that category because Mystical was never a gangster rapper. And even if you a gangster rapper, shit, if somebody steal $50,000 from you, shit, I mean, damn. I mean, come on, you guys. We gotta keep it a hundo. You gotta keep it a hundo. We gotta have these conversations. Like I said, Mystical was one of my favorite rappers. Okay? And it was funny, I was just finna do a video talking about Mystical should do a versus battle versus Juvenile. And look like, sorry about that, when I get in this area, my phone started buffering, but before my phone started buffering, I was just saying that Mystical ain't gonna be doing no verses except possibly in prison. Like I said before, you have to say, what's up, man? You have to say, Mystical, what's up, bro? And like I said before, I was gonna do a video saying Mystical versus Juvenile, Battle of New Orleans, No Limit versus Cash Money. That would have been one of the best versus battles ever. But I say that would have been up there with Redman versus Method Man, Snoop Dogg versus DMX. That would have been up there. But because of Mystical bad judgment and possibly temper, you know. And we have to understand something. Like, I try to get everybody to understand, everybody is human. We are all human beings. We make mistakes. But this is a mistake that is going to cost Mystical a lot of years off his life if he is convicted. Keep in mind, Mystical is already in his 50s. I think Mystical is, what, 53? Or 50, 52, 53. I think he was born in 70 or 71. So, you know, excuse me, I think he's 52. I know he in his 50s. Like I said, I think we all are saddened, you know, by what happened to Mystical. But at the end of the day, if he's did this to this woman, I'm saddened by what's happened to this woman. And, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, anybody that been following my channel know that I'm fair. And know that I keep it 100 and I try to be as objective. Like I said before, I call it right down the middle. And y'all gonna see, because Chris Rock, I'm finna ether that nigga in a video. I may not do it today, but I'ma do it before. When I say Chris Rock I'm finna ether this dude. When I say Chris Rock is the ultimate beta male, when I say dude is Chris Rock should just walk around wearing a dress. He should change his name to Christina Rock, because to me that's his name, because that's what he acted like. He acted like Christina instead of Chris. But I'll explain that later. But yeah, I just wanted to just get that off my chest, because I wanted to get y'all opinion about this. So please, everybody voice their opinion in the comment section. Please be respectful. No matter how you feel about the situation, just be respectful. Appreciate the love, man. It's your boy Town Biz. I'm out.